Welcome to Community Forum, brought to you by Citizens Against Teen Suicide and Bullying Abuse. Our show is a call to action for families and community members. You'll be hearing from local and national authorities during the upcoming weeks on all aspects of bullying, abuse, and related issues. As we like to say, we've recruited cool speakers to cover hot topics. However, although we will have a variety of speakers, each program will have the same theme. The CATS theme, affirming the precious gift of life through awareness and compassion. The program will be informative and takeaway tips will be offered by each speaker. We hope that our program will inspire you to be an upstander and not a bystander when it comes to dealing with bullying and any other form of abuse that you may witness. And now to Dr. Ray Antisico, Executive Director of CATS and our host for today's program.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's program of Community Forum. Once again, we have a great topic, a great speaker, or as we're apt to say, we have a cool speaker on a hot topic. And so let's get right to it. Our cool speaker of the day is none other than Eric Weaver. And Eric has his own story to tell and about his personal life and his consultancy business. And Eric, why don't you just do that? Why don't you fill us in briefly on what your company is, or your consulting business, and maybe a little bit about what your talk's going to be about today.
Sure, absolutely. My name's Eric Weaver. I'm the Executive Director of Overcoming the Darkness. We're a training consulting agency in which we do a lot of work in regards to the education, awareness, prevention around the issues of mental illness and suicide. Do a lot of different trainings with law enforcement agencies, community groups, faith communities, strictly on the issues of mental illness and suicide, understanding the stigmas, understanding signs and symptoms, prevention of suicide, and intervention of suicide as well.
Well, you're tackling a lot. You're up to you have the capacity for it. I know you well enough to know that, and you're off to a great start with all of your consultancies. And we commend you on all that you're doing and have done in this field. And we are certainly glad that you're here with us today. Your topic for today is?
Basically on the issues of mental health and mental illness and suicide together, and some of the challenges, especially the issues of stigma, and how does some of the ways that we can overcome some of the challenges in my life and in our lives. And so certainly as I talk about my own experiences with not only my professional understanding and experience with the issues of mental illness and suicide from law enforcement to faith communities, but my personal experiences on the issues of mental illness and suicide, having been diagnosed with 4 mental illnesses and hospitalized for being suicidal on numerous occasions. So there's certainly a lot that we can discuss in a very short amount of time. But especially towards the end, I'm going to be talking about just a couple things that we can keep in mind when it comes to the issues of mental health and mental illness and suicide, especially if we or a loved one is experiencing that in some way.
Yeah, and we're calling those 2 or 3 items takeaways or tips. And we suggest right now that once we break, which we'll do in a few seconds, Eric will be coming back shortly after the break to give you his address. But we suggest right now you gather the family, maybe get a notebook, and be prepared to take notes on what Eric is saying. But then especially at the end, Eric will be back talking about the 3 tips or takeaways for you today. So without any further ado, we're going to go to our hot topic and our cool speaker, Eric Weaver. Be back in just a moment.